Welcome. Welcome to another new Manchester video. This is yours truly, and I am at a parking lot, car park, as the Brits want to call a parking lot. This is a parking lot at a park in Overton, Texas. And man, I mean, doesn't look much like a parking lot. Yeah, looks like crap. Yeah, this is what you get this is what you get from greedy corporate for-profit politicians who are not for the people and for millionaires and billionaires and huge multinational corporations. I mean, this is what you get from them. Yeah. Before I get into this video, I just saw a woman walk by. She was young. She looked like she was black. A typical shitty American woman. I mean, if I go and try to talk to her and get to know her, she probably gonna get away from me, probably ignore me and tell me to get the hell away from her. She probably gonna give me a dirty look, like, "Are you for real?" That's probably what she gonna say. Well, anyway, it's very windy out here, so I'm gonna get inside my car and get into this video. All right. Okay. This is a request from one of my subscribers, and they want me to do a video comparing the United States and Canada with Australia and New Zealand. I never been to Australia and I've never been to New Zealand, so I've been watching some videos on YouTube about Australia and New Zealand, and plus there's a nurse who works at my doctor's office. She's an elderly old woman, and she's from New Zealand. Her name is Ingrid, and she's really nice. And she's really nice, and she's easy to talk to. So I'm gonna do my best in this video. So here goes nothing. See what I can say. Okay. I noticed well, in Australia and New Zealand, I'm gonna start with Australia. I noticed the people in Australia are laid back. I mean, they're talkable, sociable people. I mean they're not paranoid and on edge. And I remember I watched a video from a woman from Canada. Her name is Geneva, and she has the YouTube channel Dorm Room Divas, and I subscribe to her. I watched this video of her talking about her experience in Australia. She was in the country, I think with a visa. She was staying there and working there, and let's see. She was a nanny, and she was caring for an Australian family. And the children, and she said the husband and the wife and the children were crazy, and they were making up stuff on her, and they were going nuts and destroying the home and all. I think that's what I remember. And yeah. So yes, and also I watched a video of a guy from, I think he was from India or any country. Okay, he had a home in he had a home in somewhere in Australia. I think Queensland or New South Wales. Um, and he was doing something strange, like he didn't have a real lawn. He had like a carpet lawn, and he vacuumed the carpet that was the lawn around his house. It was kind of strange, and his neighbors were racist, and they were like complaining about him being weird and doing all of this. And plus, the neighbors, didn't want him like near them. And there was this woman who's one of the neighbors. Like I can tell, like she was making up stuff. It's like, oh, this love and not love and all this stuff, And her what she said and how she acted, and is the fact that she's racist and she just doesn't like the guy, and because he's not white, and it's not the fact. Well, her and everybody think that the guy is weird because he has like a rug or some rug along around his house, and they were saying that yeah, they were complaining about how weird he was, but also not because he was weird, because they just didn't like him because of his race, and they were racist towards him. I mean, he ran into him at a gas station. I think it was some fat, overweight guy, and he was bitching and complaining and saying, "Get away from me" and all this stuff. And I think this was on some like episode of some TV show. I think the host of that show, who did a report, like um told a weird guy to stay near him and confront his racist neighbors. So yeah, I don't think everybody in Australia is racist, but yeah, Australia is a very racist country, and it is, yeah, it's a racist country, and it is. But some people there are racist, some people are not, and some are, yeah, they're apologizing to the indigenous people, the Australian Aborigines, for treating them so badly. So that's all I know. Yeah, there's that shitty woman right now. Like, yeah, yeah. Like I said, if I go up to her, like she's not gonna like stop and talk to me. It probably don't have anything to do with it. Well, yeah, and also because of the pandemic, yeah. So yeah, do social distancing. But if the pandemic wasn't around, like, yeah, I can go up if I can. Yeah, if I had the freedom to go up to her, like, she probably wouldn't have anything to do with me. She'd probably ignore me and keep walking, or just give me a dirty look. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, Australia has its flaws, but overall, it's a decent country, and and my sister complained that, they have deadly animals. They'll kill. They have snakes and insects that will kill you and all this stuff. Then my dad talked about, Australia is a racist country. It's racist. It's racist. I'm like the United States is a racist country too. So what are you talking about? Then he bashed New Zealand and talking about the people in New Zealand are 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 racist too. So but I watched some videos about that country. But it seems to me like the white people in New Zealand, the Kiwis, are treating like the Maui people. They're treating them right. Polynesian people, yeah. Um, so yeah. So yeah, yeah, and so far, Aussies and Australia and Kiwis and New Zealand are, they're nothing like people in Canada and here, this country that I'm in, the United States. I mean, they're nothing like the people in the US and Canada. So yeah, okay, let me get down the comparison. Okay, wow, this is a tall order and this is a mess. Um okay, Australians and New Zealand, okay, Aussies and Kiwis are, they're laid back, they're easy to talk to, they're not paranoid and fearful of strangers. Um, they're not passive aggressive. They're not like they're not gonna like attack you multiply online. If you talk about their country. I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna okay. I'm gonna go to Canada and the U.S. I'm gonna start with Canada. Canadians are ice cold, antisocial, closed, passive aggressive, um, idiotic, um, lifeless. Uh, the United States, people here in the U.S. are antisocial, cliquish, paranoid, fearful of strangers. They're narcissistic. Um, they're in their own bubbles and they're in cliques. Um, you can't go and talk to anybody unless you're part of their clique. And also, you can't talk to people unless it's business related, especially with strangers. Um, yeah. Okay. I think I can add this in. Okay. Healthcare wise. Healthcare. Um, Australia and New Zealand, they both have universal healthcare, along with Canada, and the U.S. has no universal healthcare plan at all. So here in the U.S., you can go bankrupt over medical bills. You can die waiting, getting care. 45,000 or more Americans will die because of a lack of health care and they can't afford it. They go bankrupt over medical bills. They have to pay out of pocket at the emergency room. Um, and this doesn't exist in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Um, so yeah. Um, the number of people who die in a healthcare, the number of people who die in their health in healthcare wise, Australia 0, New Zealand 0, and Canada 0. So yeah, okay. What else? Um, I noticed in Australia. I don't know about New Zealand. In Australia, yeah, if you get a pizza, um, I say if you get a pizza, the pizza won't be large as in the U.S. Um, uh, um, yeah, foods. I think in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada don't have access sugar, high fructose corn syrup, um, chemicals, MSG, artificial chemicals, junk in their food. They don't have that, and the U.S. has that in the food here. Um, okay, Canadians love to compare themselves with the U.S. The U.S. never compares them. American. Well, I'm gonna start over again. Canadians and Canada always compare themselves with the U.S. with Americans, and Americans never compare themselves with Canadians because Americans here in the U.S. don't care about Canada, have no interest in Canada. If you talk to them about Canada, they wouldn't care. If you talk to someone about Canada, they won't talk about it at all. They'll just talk about something else. If you tell them about Canada and they don't care. Um, Australia and New Zealand, they talk about how America is, how the country is, mass shootings, racism, all the problems that America has. Australians, Aussies, and New Zealand people, Kiwis, will talk about America. And I think they also probably will talk about Canada because they're interested in other countries, unlike the U.S. And I don't know about Canada. Yeah, so yeah, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the United States. They're Anglophone countries. All four of them are former British colonies of the British Empire. And I have a friend who told me, "Oh, don't go to Australia. Australia is part of England," and that's wrong. Australia is an independent nation. It's known as the Commonwealth of Australia, and they haven't they haven't been part of the UK in years. So they're an independent country along with New Zealand. I mean, both Australia and New Zealand, they both have the parliamentary system. They both have parliament. Um, the parliament in Australia is located in Canberra, which is the capital of Australia, and the parliament in New Zealand is located in Wellington. Hope I'm right on that. Um, yeah, the nurse, a nurse from New Zealand at my doctor's office, Ingrid, asked me, do you know where Parliament in New Zealand is? And I didn't know, and she was shocked, and she told me. So Parliament is located in Wellington. So yeah, but overall, Australia and New Zealand are better countries, are better countries. I mean, they're both better than Canada and the U.S. Basically, they beat both. Basically, they both beat both the U.S. and Canada on being social wise. Zero zero gaslighting and toxicity in Australia, New Zealand. So yeah, zero toxicity, zero gaslighting, bullying. Then none of that exists. I'm sorry. I mean, I've never been to Australia, New Zealand, so this is a request from someone who wants me to do a video comparing Australia, New Zealand with Canada and the U.S. So so far I'm trying my best here. So yeah, also I want to throw this in. The Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison. Um, I remember during the wildfires in that country, Australia. He was in I think he was in Hawaii, on vacation or on holiday there, and he didn't care, and his response was kind of slow. He didn't care about his country being on fire. I don't know. So it seemed to me he's terrible. I mean, I think he's conservative, and then you got the Prime Minister of New Zealand. What's her name? Jacinda Ardern. Jacinda Ardern. Um, I mean, when that mass shooting happened in New Zealand, she wanted stronger gun control, and she didn't make the she didn't go the route that presidents here in America went down the route, and politicians when it comes to mass shootings. Yeah, and also from New Zealand. I mean, there's this political news journalist. Her name is Tova O'Brien, and she was tough on this MP, this politician in Parliament in New Zealand. I mean, this Kiwi news journalist was tough on him, and she said stuff like, no, 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 I don't want to hear this rubbish. I don't want to hear this rubbish. And this guy was like making up excuses on why he lost, and she didn't want to hear it, and she just came down on him and held him accountable for what he did, and it was amazing. And I mean, you won't get a news journalist like that here in the U.S. because if they do this stuff on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, I mean, she will be fired and gone because here like cable news. I mean, the establishment want news journalists to kiss the ass of politicians, regardless of how corrupt they are, how bad they are, and it doesn't. And, yeah, and from both parties, and I think this ass kissing the politicians' asses doesn't go on in New Zealand. Period. Also, probably not in Australia either. So yeah, and the news channels, I think in Australia, on this news channel called Australia Sky News, and they were making fun of Joe Biden who was saying a lot of whacked out stuff because Joe Biden has cognitive decline and he's old, and they were making fun of Joe Biden on him saying stuff like put on the record player and the children rub my hairy legs, and when they rub my hairy legs, the hair on my hairy legs turned blonde and all the cockroaches jump in my lap. And they were laughing at him, they were making fun of him. I think they were conservative, you know. Yeah, the people, yeah, the news journalists on Sky News Australia. So yeah, yeah, I think the media in Australia and New Zealand are better than media in Canada and the U.S. Because you know, in Canada and the U.S., the corrupt politicians will get the red carpet from the media, and they never like go after them being corrupt and screwing the people, screwing poor, average, or normal, ordinary people. So yeah, so it seems to me that Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the U.S. I'm gonna say that Australia, New Zealand beats Canada and beats Canada and in the U.S. Both Australia and New Zealand are better than Canada and the U.S. So yeah, so there's a saying, all countries have their problems, all countries have their flaws, and and all of them are not perfect. But but I'm gonna say this, yeah, all countries don't have the problems that the U.S. has, and Australia, New Zealand, when it comes to being sociable, when it comes to better quality of life and better standard of living and better news media outlet, Australia and New Zealand defeats the U.S. and Canada in that department. So yeah, so that's what I gotta say about Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the U.S. and doing comparison with these countries. Yeah. Yeah, I know one thing. Those Australia, New Zealand don't have crappy parking lots and crappy roads and highways and bridges like Canada and the US has. So yeah, this is a shitty parking lot at this park I'm at. Yeah. Yeah, there's a faded parking sign with a handicap symbol on it, so yeah, it's hard to know if this is a parking lot or not, but this is a parking lot. It is. It doesn't look like it. It was like a meteor from outer space hit it and destroyed it. Oh yeah, yeah. Before I end this video, I posted a video from this account onto my archive channel, New Manchester Classics, and it was a video about how heartless the U.S. is to its citizens during the coronavirus pandemic, and YouTube removed the video off of the New Manchester Classics channel and gave it a community guideline strike. So I did a repeal, so I haven't been in the channel, so they're not going to put the video back, and they flagged it as medical misinformation. And that's not medical misinformation. That's true. and it is. Okay, there's someone walking by. Yeah, probably that woman, probably that shitty woman again. So yeah, yeah, if you guys are interested in checking out my New Manchester Classics archive channel, it's on YouTube. Just type it in, and there it is. I just create that channel to put all the videos on this account onto that channel, just for like future reference and archiving and all. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got. So that's all I got to say in this video. So I'm gonna wish all my I'm gonna wish my subscribers, and I'm gonna wish my subscribers and viewers of my of the videos on my channel. I want to wish them all I wish them all a happy new year, and I hope all of you had a great Christmas. You know, and yeah, the Christmas I had was kind of shitty. So you know, it is what it is. So I'm gonna get out of here. Okay, that's all I gotta say in this video. Bye. Oh, I want to mention one more thing. This is about Canada. I heard that Canada has the CRB, where people get paid like $1,000 a month during the pandemic, like saying that they can't need to stay home and not work during the pandemic. And I heard that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in the Canadian government made a mistake and made people who were getting money from the CRB to pay the government back. So that's kind of messed up right there, and it is. I bet a lot of Canadians who work for a living are just outraged about this, and they are. You know, and you know, CRB, like I think that's not like UBI, Universal Basic Income, but the CRB, I mean, that's something the United States doesn't have, period. And you know, I think Australia and New Zealand has a version of Universal Basic Income, and they probably do. I don't know. So yeah, that's all I got to add in this video. Bye.